Let us stand for the university income.
How is the package not clear?
Thank you, Ananda. Now I invite today's our guest of honor to inaugurate the workshop.
I have to. Yeah, please. But, yes, but, yes.
Now I invite Dr. Rangapillai, University Librarian, to deliver the welcome address.
Welcome, namaste to all. It's an absolute pleasure to see all our academic community along with the publishing community to spend 1 to 2 hours how the academic community and publishing community can join their hands to explore the knowledge in the form of book, that too scholarly book publications. In this regard, we thought of creating an awareness, the aroma of book publishing in the Pondicherry University campus. Then we contacted our director, Research and Development Cell, Professor Selvin Joseph. He not only extended consent but motivated us to do it immediately for the benefit of entire academic community. In this regard, we thought our director, Research and Development Cell, himself as a chief guest. Sir, we welcome you for this program as a chief guest. Then, once again, to whom we have to invite. Nowadays, there is a publishing industry is like a mushroom. Wherever you will touch a gully, there will be a publication will be there, publication trust will be there. Whom to believe, whom not to believe. Then we went through the accreditations of the publishers. Then we identified Taylor and Francis, who is pioneer in the field of publications, may it be books, journals, and other academic resources. Then we are in touch with Taylor and Francis to explore the possibilities of conducting the program to have a flavor of publication in Pondicherry University campus, so that our research visibility, publication visibility will be more that reflects in the NIRF ranking or in A++ grade. In this regard, we are thankful to Taylor and Francis, where Dr. Rajesh Day, representing as a resource person, to clarify all your doubts in the field of publication. So we thankful to Mr. Rajesh Day to show your presence, to spend your knowledge among our academic community. Thank you, Rajesh Day. We are thankful to the Dean, HODs, faculties, all students, research scholars, all who are present here. Meanwhile, we have a collaboration with VBU SS Vidya Bharati Ucha Shikshana Samsthan, the National Executive Committee. The member is there, Professor Sanjay Pratap Singh. Sir, we welcome you also. We welcome our Director, Physical Education and Sports, Professor Praveen Kumar. We welcome you also. We welcome one more, the National Awardee. He is recently got the National Award for the Teacher, Professor Shankar Babu. So we welcome you also. Like this, we have a number of names are there to save the valuable time of our research scholars, our audience. Just I would like to conclude. We welcome all of you for the benefit of this workshop, having two slots. One slot is book publication, scholarly book publication. Another is open access. There is a thin layer difference between open access and predatory publication. It may be journal, it may be anything. So how to differentiate the thin layer between open access and the predatory publication? For that, our research person is here. So I don't want to act as a barrier between our resource person and our academic community. So once again, I welcome all, along with our Director, Dean, International Relations, the Professor Mani also. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now we will take this moment to honor our guest. Our librarian sir will honor today's chief guest, Dr. Joseph Sheldon sir, with small bouquet.
Yes. Not only our director is the backbone of our research in the campus.
Now I request our director sir to honor today's resource person, Mr. Rajesh Day. in this, now,
Wait. Sir.
from Thailand, Mr. Rajesh, this honor or director, sir. This mom, please.
Yes. Sir. Yeah. Sir. No. It's there. In library. No.
Now,
Library. This alone.
This mom,
Thank you, sir. We are the academic part.
Before going to the main section, I invite Dr. Naheem KT who introduced our director, sir, about a few words.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce our chief guest of today's workshop, Professor Joseph Selvin, sir, Director of R&D at Pondicherry University. Professor Selvin is a renowned scientist and a fellow of National Academy of Agricultural Sciences. He has received several prestigious awards, including Jawaharlal Nehru Award ICAR 2003, INSA Young Scientist Gold Medal 2006, and ICMR International Fellowship. With an outstanding academic record, Professor Selvin has published more than 200 plus journal articles and earned an impressive H-index of 46 in its corpus, along with 12,000 plus citations to its studies according to Google Scholar. He is guided numerous PhD scholars and he acts as a mentor of several postdoc fellows. Professor Selvin has also led 14 plus research projects, and moreover, he was one of the 13 esteemed faculty members of Pondicherry University, listed by Stanford University among the top 2 scientists globally in 2024. In addition to his scientific achievements, Professor Selvin serves as an academic editor of PLOS One journal and has delivered keynote addresses of various international conferences. His contributions to research, teaching, and innovation have left lasting impact on the field of marine microbiology and biotechnology. It is indeed a privilege to have him with us today, and I am confident that his insight will greatly enhance this function. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me welcoming Professor Selvin sir to speak few words about the workshop.
Very good afternoon. So very esteemed today's guest and like speaker, the largest day, serial editor, Taylor and Francis, and most esteemed beloved colleague, Dr. Vijay Kumar, University Librarian, and respected colleagues. There are many colleagues. Thanks a lot, and dear students. So I wanted to share one of the one aspect. Yes, I can't take much time between the speaker and today's program. So you see, when I'm teaching microbiology, basically I'm teacher in microbiology or biotechnology or colleagues in different ecology, sports, etc. So while we are teaching, we are taking the notes or books from other authors, and we will say this is a foreign author. Foreign author means reputed. Then this is an Indian author. So we will keep not that way. If you see the medical education and engineering, the medical education in India and engineering almost replace the foreign author books with our own. So their own. There is a NCC. Means Medical Council of India, NMC, National Medical Council, or any other these bodies have prescribed syllabus. So almost the syllabus-based books are there. So our medical students and engineering students are almost top. We are also top, no doubts. But still, we are not that localized our knowledge. We are just driving behind what is happening around us. we are also doing extremely, I can say, better than what is happening in the Western world. So we are equally better. You will see highly cited people are there, highly rewarded people are there, but they are not in the media sometimes. I will see we are, I'm receiving n number of such a sort of awards, etc. Every week there should be a recognition. So only I feel my parties, my colleagues and the students and students together, we have to bring there are so many books which is a nanotechnology. There are books you are offering from the foreign order. I'm not saying copy it back. No, not that way. So very carefully, I think ethics is very important. We have to when we are teaching that, you are teaching other than the books, no? Yeah, I'm teaching more than that in the books. So through the resources, what is happening in the literature, we are teaching. So that today we have to update the knowledge. We have to bring the books better than that what exists in the field. So thereby we can localize the education. Now I'm saying that everybody is able to globalize. I'm saying we are better than the global arena. We can do the wonderful science. Thereby we will be the topper like our missions and the government of India missions to 2047 we become the developed country. That time all books will be referred by the other country. Really we are the developed nation. This is all good luck.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your inspiring speech. Now I invite Dr. Kalman to speak about the resource person. We should know something about who is today's resource person. He will introduce our resource person.
Thank you, Mr. Rao. Today's chief guest, Director Research, our University Librarian. Today's speaker and the resource person of this workshop, other university faculty members, scholars, and the faculty members, scholars, those who have joined online. Okay, so good evening to one and all. And it's my first of all, I do thank our university librarian and it is the organizer of this workshop for giving me an opportunity to introduce our today resource person, Mr. Rajesh Dey. It's our privilege to have Mr. Rajesh Dey, the today resource person, a distinguished senior editor in the global books editorial team of Taylor and Francis. Mr. Dey is an accomplished publishing professional with nearly 15 years of experience, specializing in scholarly programs, and he is a passionate advocate for open access and open research. So before that, he found his exercise working with a remote publishing house like Cambridge, University Press, Sage, and Pearson. In his current role, Mr. Dey oversees the publication of monographs, handbooks, textbooks, and professionals and reference editors in the field of computer science, statistics, physics, and mathematics. He collaborates extensively with others from South Asia region and Sub-Saharan Africa, making significant contribution to advancing academic research in these regions. Today, Mr. Dey will guide us through the intricacies of scholarly book publishing and open access, providing valuable insight to enhance our academic pursuit. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ananda.
Thank you, sir, Dr. Kalman, sir. Now I will hand over the session to Mr. Rajesh Dey, sir.
Thank you very much. I'm a bit tense because I can see a lot of faculties are there and a lot of big things were told about me. I don't know whether I will be able to deliver at that stage or not. So, first of all, thank you for participating today. I know it's a rainy day. In a rainy day, sitting in a conference room, in a workshop and talking about academic publishing is a bit boring, isn't it? No? It's a bit boring, I know. So, first of all, let me tell you, this is not a class. This is a workshop. So that means the communication will be two-way. For example, can you hear me at the back? You can hear me at the back, give me a thumbs up. Yeah? Okay, great. So it would be a two-way communication. the slides that I have will only work as an anchor, right? I will be talking about academic publishing, talking about scholarly communication and open access. I think I have approximately 15 to 16 slides. I may go through all of them, may not, depends on your questions. So I want you to engage in that discussion, raise your hand, or if you are joining us online, just post your questions on the chat. I will try to answer as many questions as possible. And let us start from here. What kind of audience do we have here today? So all the assistant professors, faculties, can I see some hands? Who are, okay. Okay, so we have almost like 7 to 10 faculties here. What about the researcher, like who are doing PhD or postdoc? Okay, so most of the people I can see are from PhD or doing research. And how many of you have their first year of the PhD? They have just started. Okay, so most of them. So yesterday I was in a different university, and last month I also went to a different university. I'm not naming that, but when I asked in the audience who are there, so most of the percentage of the audience were from PhD first year. So cheers to that. And I guess on the I cannot see the screen from here, but please, whoever is joining us to online, please post your questions on the chat box, and intermediately we are looking into this chat and trying to answer. Total we have, I think 1 hour and 1.5 hours. We'll spend 45 minutes to talking about the basics. So I will start from the fundamentals. We have a lot of young researchers here today. So we'll start with the fundamentals. We'll talk about publication, and then slowly we will go into the question and answer session. So any questions so far? In case you don't understand me, in case I'm from a different part of the country, I have a different accent. In case you don't understand, you want me to slow down, or if you want me to speak fast, please raise your hand and tell me. This is an interactive session, not a class. Okay, let's start. So before I go into academic publishing, let me introduce our company. I represent Taylor & Francis. It's a global publication house. We have office and representative in India, but we all work for the global offices. In other words, we do not have any local publishing program. All of our books published either from UK or from US. There are a lot of things you will be hearing, and probably you already know about Taylor & Francis. I just want to remember 3 things. I just want to tell you 3 things, 3 points that will tell you what we are. Number 1, we have started at 1836. So from 1836, we must be doing something right? That's why we are still operating in multiple countries in the world. The second thing is that Taylor & Francis is a public company. It's listed in London Stock Exchange. Why that is important? That is important because we are transparent. All of our numbers are open in public. There are multiple audits happen across the year. That's why it is important. You can go to Google and search our name. You will see what stock price is going on and all the details, company reports and everything. The third thing that I want to tell you is the number of books that we publish and number of journals we do in 1 year. That will give you some idea of what kind of operation we are running across the globe. So each year, I have written 8,000, it's approximately 8,500 books we are publishing across the globe. And it covers all the different disciplines. Social science, humanities, management, you just name it. In all the disciplines, we have different kind of things. Like any other publishers, in some of the disciplines we are very strong, and some of the disciplines we don't have that kind of list. And every year we are publishing 2,700 journals. So that is about TNF. We have multiple imprints. Over the years, we have merged with multiple companies. We have purchased multiple imprints. Right now, we just need to know 2 names. One is CRC Press, Chapman and Hall. These 2 are the imprints using which we publish all the science, technology, engineering books. And the Routledge, mainly we publish the humanities and social science books. So this is about us. I'm moving to the next slide. Before we go into academic publishing and discussion everything, I just want to ask you a question. Why do you think people like us, editor like me, or publication houses like TNF or other publication houses are still around? So everybody has access to internet, right? You can write whatever you want, you can publish it. Even there are different channels where you can publish it, you can create your own website, you can post your book there. So why do you need academic publishers around? Do you really need them or you don't need them? You can just like, they can slowly die and you don't need to publish, we will publish directly. So this is a question I want to pose and I'm not going to answer it. I want you to think about it and maybe after this, the first presentation, maybe you can tell me what do you think about it. And we can discuss after the workshop as well, right? Going to the next. Do we have anybody here from Ladakh? From the Ladakh region? Do we have anybody? One. Great. Where are you from Ladakh? You sit down. This is not a class, just a discussion. Yes. Kargil district. Can you recognize this place? Huh? Sorry? You are near, but try again. This is Palun. Yeah, you've been to Palun? No? You have some idea about Palun?
Yes.
Huh? Can you please share with everyone what is Palun? How remote it is and what the place is? Just in 1 or 2 lines.
It's very far from the main town.
Right.
The roads are not that very far. And the roads are not good because it's get disconnected also.
Right. Thank you very much for sharing with us. So basically what you said, and let me repeat, Palun is one of the remotest places in India I ever been. I keep traveling on the road, by car, wherever I get chance. So this is the remotest place I have been. And there are like 2-3 things I can tell you and then you'll understand how remote the place is. Till 2020 or 2021, there was no mobile network connectivity there. Till 2020, there was no good road there. Like only some roads are there, and it is nothing to do with government or anybody because the weather is so harsh. Every 3-4 months, the road will wash out. There is nothing. So almost 6-7 months, you can only reach out to this place. When I thought I will go to this place, and I have traveled a lot in that region. That is in the Kargil region only, and we have one person here from that same region. When I went there, where I was planning to go there, one of the school, you can see the school is there, school building image is there. They get in touch with me, and they said, since you are coming here, why don't you take a class? So I said, yeah. They said, you see, students here do not get to interact with the people who are working, say, with the global companies or who are interacting with multiple countries in the world. So why don't you come here and talk to the student? And generally, I'm very much interested about critical thinking and creative thinking. So I said, okay, I will take a class. I will talk about critical thinking and creative thinking, which was started as a class that became almost half-day workshop that I took in the school. So why I'm telling all these stories from my life? Do you need to know this? Why? The point is that I have taken multiple classes, workshops in many places, right? I have attended a lot of conferences and all. I have to give like a lot of interviews to get in this MNC's job. I was never nervous and tense like the day before or the following before the month when I was going there, because I had one problem: how I'm going to communicate with these children. They are from 9, 10, 11, 12. Almost, as you can see, 100, 150 people were there. So I was really tense. How I'm going to communicate? They don't know English. I don't know their local language. They know a little bit of Hindi. And my first language is not Hindi. I understand Hindi, I speak Hindi, I think I am good at Hindi, but I don't know whether I will be able to communicate all the creative thinking ideas in Hindi. And their Hindis are also not good. So I was really tense. How I'm going to communicate with them. So why I'm saying all these things is because knowing the subject, knowing your topic, or doing a good research is not enough for the communication. You may be knowing a lot about the topic that you are working on, maybe you are the best in the field. Maybe you came up with the idea which is groundbreaking, but that doesn't mean you will be able to communicate it properly. That's why you need to learn scholarly communication. We all are doing it, whether we know it, whether we don't know it, whether you are going to a conference, you are writing a book, you are writing a paper, doesn't matter. These all are, or maybe you are collaborating with someone from other countries, doesn't matter. End of the day, you are doing scholarly communication. You are communicating about your work. So if you don't remember anything from this presentation, just remember this. Whenever you are doing scholarly communication, you need to think about the audience that you are targeting to. It cannot be one size fits all. When you are writing for a journal, the communication would be different. When you are writing for a book, the communication would be different. It sounds like, why this guy is standing there and telling us this simple thing, everybody knows it. It is not true, everybody doesn't know it. When we see the proposal, when we see the kind of papers that we are getting, you will be able to see people are not mindful about this fact. So that's why I want to start from this note. Just 3 things I will tell you in the entire presentation that probably you want to remember. This is the first thing. Let's say you decide you want to publish, right? You have written something, maybe an article, maybe it is a monograph. Once you completed your PhD thesis, maybe you are converted into a monograph, or maybe you are part of an edited book. You have decided, or your manuscript is ready, right? How you are going to find a publisher? As I said, there are a lot of publishers, and you never know whether the publisher is a legit one or not legit one. Why it is important to be legitimate? Because in that case, if a legitimate publisher, what they will do? They will peer review. They will send your work to peer review. Your work will go through quality check. It will not be published straight away. It can't be, genuine publishers can't be following a model where you will be submitting your manuscript and the next day you got the ISBN and book is published. It can't be. Then it is not a publisher. It is something else. Maybe it's a scam or something else, I don't know. So how you get to know? It is very difficult, but because everybody doesn't know about the publishing industry, you can go Google, but there are different kind of results are coming out. So for that, to solve this problem, different big publication houses from the world came together and they created a site called Think, Check, Submit. You can just put the URL. You will go into that particular website. You can put the name of the publishers, and they will tell you whether the publishers is legitimate or not. It is not. This is not owned by any publication houses. It is a collaboration between multiple publication houses out there. So first thing I told you about scholarly communication and mindful about scholarly communication. This is the second thing that I want to remember. Doesn't matter which publication houses you want to publish with, but just check whether the publication house is some place that you want to publish with. You want to associate your name and research. Now, if you decide that you want to publish with Taylor and Francis, what would be the process? I will be mainly talking about book publishing today, but even if you have any questions about journal, I will be happy to address. And from time to time, I will be also talking about a little bit about journal publication. Okay? So, if you decide that you want to publish your book with Taylor and Francis, what would be the process? This is the process I will explain in a while. But remember, this is the part. International publishers have the similar kind of process. Any international recognized publication house you are reaching out to, you will see they have similar kind of process in place. So if you understand this, then you are more or less sorted for all the international publication houses. What happens in international publication houses? They ask you for a book proposal. Book proposal is basically an idea of the book. What you want to do, what you are writing in the book, how the book is unique, what novelty is there. These are the questions that you need to answer here. Similarly like PhD, when you decided to do PhD, you provided a proposal, right? This is also a kind of proposal that you are providing to a publication house. What the publication house will do, they look into 2 different kinds of things, only 2. Number 1, the quality of the work. The quality can be many things. It can be authorship, it can be the uniqueness, novelty of the work, it can be how you have written the proposal, that means whether the grammar, spelling, your communication, whether it is up to the standard of the publication house or not. Like there are many things. But simple thing is the quality. The publication house is looking into quality, number one. Number two, commercial viability. Because publication house are end of the day what they are trying to do, they will be publishing your book and they will be selling it to the globe. They will be reaching out to multiple libraries, institutions like yours, and they will be publishing, they will be selling it there. So if you are writing a book which may be of very good quality and maybe your uniqueness, novelty is there, but publication houses may think this is not a kind of book that I will be able to sell. Probably this is very niche, or maybe this is a topic that will not fit the kind of list that we are running. Then your book proposal may get rejected. So before you submit a book proposal, what you need to see, you need to look into the list that the publication houses is already published. Whenever you are writing the book proposal form, mention some of the book that the publication houses are already published on the similar area. Now you may ask, what if there is no similar books published by that publication house? Then the publication house is not a good fit for you. You need to find other publication house who are publishing in that area. Big publication houses like TNF and other big international publication houses, they have published almost all the areas. So if doesn't matter in which area you are working with, you will find some similar book has been published. Taylor and Francis, we have almost 1.6 lakh books that we have published so far in all the different disciplines, and these are all the academic publication I'm talking about books. So if your book proposal is accepted by the editor like us sitting there, they are looking into the book proposal, they are discussing with the publisher and they are accepting it. Accepting it for publication? No. They are accepting it for the peer review process. What is peer review process? We'll discuss it in one of the slides that is there. So just understand this, it will be sent out, somebody will look into it, subject expert, they will provide their comments, and like external examiner in PhD, similar kind of thing, it will be sent like 3 to 4 people globally. Once they submit, they give their feedback, recommendation, this is a good area to publish, this is the book you should publish. Then you will sign a contract with the publication house. In the contract, it will be written how much royalty you will get. So, see, other than open access, most of the big publication houses, they actually pay you. They don't take money to publish from you. They actually pay you as because you are providing them an intellectual property that you are writing. So you are giving them the publishing rights, and in exchange they are giving you royalty. How they give you royalty? That is, I have another slide I will discuss it here. So in the contract, it is written what kind of royalty you will get, what will be the terms, by when you will be submitting the manuscript, how many free copies you will get, everything will be written in the contract. Publication houses like TNF, you will also get ISBN when you are signing the contract. That means if you sign the contract, you can write the book is forthcoming from such and such publication houses. Even in the contract, you need to write the exact title of your book, what is going to be, and based on the title you will get the ISBN, right? After the contract is signed, you will get some time, it will depend at what stage you are in. Maybe you have just have the idea, nothing else. Then you work with the publisher, the editor will help you to write the book. Help you means guide you. And then you can take like 5, 6 months, 1 year. We generally do not recommend more than a year, but if there is a different kind of circumstances, it can be more than 1 year as well. After the contract is signed, you are writing the manuscript. Once you submit the manuscript, it will go for the different kind of check. For example, similarity index check are there. For example, plagiarism check is there. Language quality, copy editing check. Those things would be there, and then it will be accepted for publication. It takes almost 5 months to publish a book from the time you submit the manuscript. What happens in 5 months? The manuscript, there will be multiple copywriters, copy editor, proof checker who will go through your manuscript, collect the manuscript, and all publication houses, they have their own house style. What is house style? Different kind of copy editing manual, copy editing style that publication houses follow. For example, probably you are following APA, or probably you are following Chicago, right? And particular edition you are following. So similarly, publication houses have their own house style. They generally follow the big style guidelines. APA, Chicago, Hart's manual, these are like 3 biggest. They follow it and they may have some unique style guideline. They will change the manuscript accordingly, they will improve the manuscript accordingly, and then they will publish it. Okay. After that, the book will be available. So this is more or less the process. Now I have been completed like I think 3 or 4 slides. So let us take a few minutes break for asking you if you have any questions so far, and then we will continue into the next slide. Any questions, please? Yes, sir.
Yes, now I completed my PG. I entered into the research world as a PhD scholar. I spent 3 years. Now I would like to submit my PhD thesis.
Okay.
What happens? And as per the UGC, as per the Pondicherry University norms, I had to publish 2 to 3 articles.
Right.
That maybe in Q1 or in Scopus Index of Scopus. In this regard, I published. They asked me 3 papers. I published 5 papers. Now I am thinking to publish my thesis as a book. Keep it in mind that to meet the norms of Pondicherry University, to meet the norms of UGC, I already published 5 research papers based on my PhD thesis.
Yes, sir.
This is my background. But I would like to publish my thesis as a books,
Okay.
as a book of books.
Yeah.
In this regard, your input, please.
Thank you, sir. So let me take all the questions and then I'll answer one by one, sir. There was one question here, sir. Please. Yeah. Benchmark for author. What kind of benchmark? Affiliation. What kind of affiliation? Okay. 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 So in other words, you are asking if somebody submit a proposal, what kind of authors will be looking for, right? Right. Okay, great. Any other questions, or should I answer this too and then you can probably ask? Okay, take it. Okay, yes, ma'am.
This is the first slide. How do we communicate with
Finally, I was very tense, and I started the class with the ice-breaking session. And I ask everyone, I do it in many places, I ask them to do certain kind of activities which is connected to creative thinking. And then slowly I ask them, which language you want me to speak. And then I realized that the language was not a big barrier. If you have the right thing in place, if you know how to communicate, because when you communicate, the language is very less. It is more than what kind of like approach you are taking, what kind of body language you have, how you are interacting with them, those kind of stuff. So the ice-breaking session that I did for half an hour, it really helped. And then they were like coming up and they were like standing. There was one girl specifically I can tell you about who suddenly stand up and said, "Sir, you're talking about critical thinking. Do you believe in God?" Well, that girl is probably in class 8 or 9 and she's already thinking about God, and she was not asking from a religious sense. She was asking about existence. So I told her, see, doesn't matter whether I believe or not, because I'm coming from a power position. Whatever I say, that will influence you. So I will not answer you. I want you to think about more about it, and these are the books and these are the things that you can think about. So it went really well. If you, at the last slide, there is a link to my LinkedIn profile. If you just go to my LinkedIn profile, I have written this story now, like 2 or 3 paragraphs. Thank you for this question. So coming back to the academic publication, I will start from Sir. Sir asked about PhD publication. When I joined in publishing, my first publication house was Pearson. And then I worked for Cambridge University Press, almost like 15, 16 years back. And before that, I worked almost 3, 4 years or 5 years as a freelance, as a consultant when I was in the university. So see, at that time, when I started my journey, at that time, publication PhD was something different. Shodhganga was not there, the government mandate was not there, and there was no one universal rule for all the universities to publish their PhD papers. But it is a good thing that happened in last 10, 15 years. We have came a long way from here. Now, as you know, there are 2 things where your PhD will need to be published to be awarded. Number 1, as I said, you need to have publication, like at least, what is the minimum? 2, right? 2 is the minimum. Most of the people, what they do, they send out all the chapters, probably they are writing 3, 4 chapters, and then they send it out. And sometimes what happens is all of them get accepted. So all the papers are published other than introduction and conclusion. And once you submit your PhD thesis to the university will be sending it to Shodhganga. You are sending Shodhganga, right? So in Shodhganga, everybody will be able to see what you have written, what kind of research you have done, literature review, everything will be there. So the problem for the publisher is that when we are publishing a book, we are investing, any publishers are investing a lot of resources to publish a book. If we can't sell a certain number of copies, if we can't break even, then there is no point of publication. Then it will break down the entire system, right? So when we are approaching the librarian, when we are approaching the institution, let me tell you, out of 100 copies being sold, almost 90 to 95% are being purchased by institutions, university, research institutes, think tanks. These are the institutions who purchase books, right? And only few individuals are purchasing books. So that means in a university, when you approach a university, when you approach a particular institution, they will immediately tell you, if this PhD thesis is available on Shodhganga, then you immediately search. Yes, this is available. Why am I going to purchase from you? Why I will spend this many amount? Right, sir? So this is a big problem. What you can do, there is no solution. I don't have any solution. What solution I can give you is that when you are working on something, maybe you are working on a very niche area, a very particular area, right? And there's supposed to be a broader area that is out there. So what you can do, you can convert your PhD thesis to a monograph or to a short form or to a reference book, add a few chapters, make the scope a little broader, and make it like, so maybe there are, say, globally, maybe there are only 5,000 people will be interested in your topic. But if you broaden the area, maybe 30 or 40,000, just giving random numbers, 30 or 40,000 people will be interested in your idea. So you need to broaden the scope, you need to convert the thesis into something like monograph or something, and then you approach the publisher. Don't approach the publisher saying, I want to publish my PhD thesis. Immediately within 2 minutes you will get reply, don't publish. So you need to convert it. I have a complete workshop about it. I take like 2-3 hours to just talk about this, how to convert your thesis and how to look into the thesis and think about what kind of changes you can do. So maybe some other time I will talk about it more. But more or less it answers your question, right? Yeah.
It is not having an ISBN number.
No.
So if we are publishing it as a book, the recent literature added on, Taylor Francis will be interested in that.
Generally, if it is a PhD thesis, most of the cases we will not take it up. If it is the PhD thesis. If you are converting it and if it is ready for the broader audience, then only we may take it up. It will depend on the topic, depend on the particular area that you are working on. In Shodhganga, doesn't matter whether ISBN is there or not, it is open access. So everybody can download it, it is accepted. It is better now, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it is now. So what happens is it is already available, it is open access, Shodhganga is open access. So if it is already available, just adding an ISBN and publishing it will not make much sense for the publishers like us. There is another way that we sometimes suggest, if you have a fund for open access, then you can publish it in open access. What changes if you publish it in open access? The only thing changes is that then you don't need to think about how many people will be purchasing the book, because the ebook is free. So that is another way that you can think about to converting the work into the, but anyway I would suggest do not publish the PhD as it is. Convert it to a monograph, convert it to a short form or reference book, then only publish it. Because when just think about the first slide that we are talking about scholarly communication. The same communication may not be applicable for different kind of people. When you are doing a PhD, you have certain audience in mind who are already expert on that particular area. They already know what is happening. So what you are trying to do, you are trying to convince them, sir, I have added something into the literature. I have also contributed maybe a very minuscule or maybe I have done a huge contribution, but I have done some contribution. And that's why I should be awarded Doctor of Philosophy. But when you are doing publishing a book, it doesn't matter whether your work is unique or not. It matters, the novelty matters. But for audience, it needs to be relevant. right? It needs to be connected with some discipline. It needs to be connected with what they are discussing and what they are interested about. Only then they will pick it up. So think about from this perspective, like in your university, I'm sure you have a library committee, you have a head librarian and everyone. When you get a list of books and you look into it and you send it to particular faculty, they will only look the relevant books. These are the books that are relevant to my discipline. These are the books that I need, and they will fit. So if you provide a PhD title there, which is very niche, very to the point, and visible that it is a PhD, they may not, most of the time, they don't publish. So that's why all the publication houses, they have like slowed down, not only us, all have slowed down publishing, most of them are not publishing. If somebody is converting it, then we are also helping them to convert. Or if there is open access funds, even for that we suggest you convert it, don't publish it as it is. So this is about the authorship side. There is no as such rule about authorship, who can be an author. Okay? It is depends on multiple things. For example, at one point, what kind of people are approaching us? So for example, this year I am publishing 200 books, for example. I'm getting like senior professor writing on a particular topic. And then also student, PhD student is sending me proposal on that particular topic. Obviously I will pick the senior professor, right? For example, introduction to C++, right? Just giving an introduction to Python for machine learning. Okay, so this is a book that textbook that I'm planning to do. So I will prefer I will prefer someone who's teaching that topic, right, sir? And who is a senior professor. But in some cases, what may happen, in particular area, there is no senior scholar are working there, or they are not interested to publish with us, collaboration is not happening. The junior researchers are working on that. In that case, even we publish people who are doing their PhD, they haven't completed their PhD, or maybe without PhD they are working. For example, we have a category, in the next slide I will be talking about it. So let me talk about this slide and answer your question at the same time. Okay? And after this slide, I will again take questions. Is it me or is it really hot in here? Probably the AC is not working. Is it? Everybody is feeling the same? Yes, sir? So, we were talking about scholarly communication and different kind of scholarly communication. Maybe this is the reason, but they sold me this product by saying this is all weather code. So I'll go back and send a complaint. This is not all weather code. Thank you, sir. So going back to this academic book slide, scholarly communication, we are talking about scholarly communication and how there can be different kinds of scholarship. To approach that, I think you need to know these 4 categories. Whenever you are thinking about an idea or approaching a publisher, just keep it in mind that there are 4 different kinds of books are out there. I'm only talking about academic publishing, not talking about trade, non-fiction, fiction. I'm not talking about that, poetry. There can be various kinds of books. Only talking about academic books. The first thing is monograph and short form. So, few minutes back I was talking about how to convert your PhD into a monograph. What I can do is that we have a booklet about how to convert. I will share it with you, madam, and whoever is interested, just send me a hi or something. I'll send the resource with you. You will get some idea. So going back to the monograph and short form, monograph is basically, we're talking about a particular topic. The book is very small, like 70, 80 pages, 100, 120 pages. And it is talking about the development of a particular topic or development of a particular area. What is short form? Short form is an introductory book which is talking about giving you an introduction of a particular topic or particular area. For example, you are from chemical engineering background and you want to know how machine learning can help me. So what you will do, from where you will start? You will start from short form book. You will read the introduction, you will understand an in-depth introduction written by a scholar, then you will understand what the book is, and then probably will go more deep into it. The second kind of book is reference and secondary reference. Reference are basically the academic books where it can be authored volume, it can be edited volume. In this book, generally you share different kinds of research that is being happened, and you share the advanced knowledge with the peer group and with the faculty, with the researcher, right? Secondary reference and textbooks are very close. I'm sure you have a syllabus in place, and in the syllabus there is a list of books So I'm guessing in that list of books you probably have like 2 different categories. Do you have 2 different categories, sir? Do you have no? You have 1 category. You have 2 different. So in 1 category, there is a list of textbooks. What are these textbooks? These textbooks are exactly what are being taught. It can be used to understand the topic. It can be used to understand what the course structure is. And this will be perfect for mainly for students who will use this to understand the topic and will use this to pass the exam as well. So that's why lots of MCQs probably will be there, some doubt clearing questions will be there, maybe PPT will be there for students, and for teachers there will be PPT resources. We'll open this PPT and teach in that term. So that is a textbook, right? And in the secondary reference, in your syllabus, you will see there are some books which are listed as a book which can be used for further reading, to further understand on the topic. Maybe you have already read an introductory book on a particular topic. Now you want to go more deeper. For example, maybe you are reading introduction to Western philosophy. You understand what is written there. Now you want to know more. And probably that is not directly related to your syllabus, but it is related to the topic. It is related to the theme. So you go beyond, you read that book and you understand what is happening in that area. The current knowledge would be shared there. Most of the time there is no features, no PPT, nothing. It is just the information that is given. Mostly senior scholars, advanced students, teachers, faculties, they use this book. Teachers, faculties use secondary reference to teach in their classes, right? And then the last one is professional books. Professional books are books written by, it can be only written by professionals who are actually working in the industry. It can be jointly written by academicians and professionals. Most of the time it is jointly written because many times professionals doesn't know how to approach the topic, how to approach writing a book. They collaborate with the academic person and then they write a book. Why we are calling it professional book? Because it is addressed to the professional community. If you are working on a particular area and you face a problem, you try to start similar kind of book, similar kind of authors who have already faced that problem. They have provided some solutions, some case studies, some real life application, and you are applying it in your own case, right? So that's why professional books. Among all these textbooks and professional books are very low price. Compared to reference book and monograph. Monograph is also very high price for all the, just giving you a generic idea for most of the publication of it. Why? Because monograph is a very niche and it is connected to a particular topic, and that's why only the target audience is very less. That's why the price is a little bit higher. So that's the difference between these 4 kind of things. So now, sir, you can see there are 4 different kind of audiences out there. It will depend in which category that you are sending your book proposal to. And based on that, we will be looking into the author bio. If you want to write a textbook, then most of the time we look into the author's bio to see whether they have already teaching that particular topic or not. If they are not teaching, then most of the time it may get rejected or there can be some discussion or something. If it is a reference and secondary reference, whether the person is doing research on that area or not. In terms of professional book, we try to see that there is a collaboration between industry and between practitioners and the academics. So that's why these professional books are different. So, sir, you understand there are different kind of books, different kind of authors. Based on that, we do it. There is no stringent rule. You don't have PhD, no publication. You are not professor, you don't do it. There is no rule, nothing like that. It is just that the type of book that you are approaching, the type of category that you are trying to publish your book, and based on that, it will be decided. So, if it is in all categories, then it will not be academic book, it will be trade book. And then it would be a popular reading. Who would be interested in doing that? The readers of newspaper magazines who are interested about like what is happening inside Bharat. If you are publishing in academic categories, that means there is something new that you are offering about that particular discipline, right? Some novelty is there. If you just like talking about Swachh Bharat and how that have impacted the India, so most likely that would be in trade category. And as far as I can remember, there are 2-3 books are published on Swachh Bharat, which is published by big trade publishers. I'm not naming them here, but big trade publishers. They are priced like 300, 400 rupees, and that is for general audience. But academic publication is not for general audience. It is mainly for students, academicians, scholars, professionals, just like that. Implications of?
Implications for education sector. Like, Swachh Bharat is more or less writing Swachh Vidyalaya. And ideas are being made. So, as a corporate, Swachh Bharat is mainly corporate trade concept. Also, as a social regulation, how do these two concepts of corporate as well as education can be implemented?
Exactly. What you are asking, what you are saying is a research question that probably you would be a researcher or faculties would be answered it better. But from the publisher's perspective, if you are writing a book which is contributed by multiple people and they are talking about different aspects of Swachh Bharat, then you can go to a reference book if there is like some novelty into it. And if you are writing a book which is like a generic talking about Swachh Bharat, what is that done and all these things, then you could get trade book, non-fiction book for general person. But it will definitely will not get textbook, definitely will not get Nota. Maybe tomorrow if there is a course in a university who are teaching non-Swachh Bharat, then it can get it. The textbook, to become a textbook, it needs to be connected with some course. I hope that answers your question. Thank you, sir. So we will be taking more questions now. Yes, sir.
Suppose we are going to make some textbooks or questions. How to approach implementing it?
Yes. So now, sir asked if I want to publish a textbook and reference book, where to start? The first step that you can do if you want to publish with Taylor and Francis, just write me an email. That's the very basic simple step. All publication houses have book proposal form, submit proposal. So all publication houses have a simple format where they ask about different kind of things. I think I also have a slide about. So in the book proposal form, generally these categories are there: title, marketing, audience, table of contents, key feature, competition, and details. So these are the basic details that we ask from the author to fill it up in the book proposal form. Once they submit, then it goes through the review process that I was talking about, internal review process and peer review. So the book proposal is go through that. The first step for you would be writing to me. If you don't want to write to me, there is another option that you can go to TNF and you can search for editor. So we have a page in our website where you can go and you can write the discipline that you are looking into, and you will see all the editors that are working across the group in that particular. Just go to TNF and search for editorial contacts. You will get all the details, their email ID, what they are commissioning about, what kind of books they are published, everything will be there. So that answers you. Any other questions? So far, it's very boring.
Any qualifications needed?
Sorry?
Publication, any qualification needed? Suppose this is called a content publisher. Any qualifications needed for this?
No, as I was talking about the audience and all, it will depend what categories you are going into. There is no qualification as such written anywhere. It will depend on the topic that you are approaching. For example, if you are writing a textbook, the publishers are generally want the people to write a textbook who are already teaching that course, not associated, or maybe teaching in some other related areas, right? So it will depend on the particular topic. There is no as such qualification written anywhere. Yes, sir.
So in areas like science, advanced is highest competitive. So review paper needs to confer some type of review. We have a source of matter.
Yes, so everything is nowadays. Sir is asking me more about the process, basically about the timeline and whether we have to write an email or not. So what I'm suggesting, what I'm answering is replying to that. Doesn't matter what books you are writing or whatever ways you are communicating. Now everything has converted to digital. There is no physical format. You cannot write it later or anything. We also have to keep everything, all the records in digital. Number one. Number two, for the time, once you submit the book proposal review at this stage, after submitting proposal, it takes approximately 2 to 3 weeks for the internal editorial assessment. Once it is accepted, you receive an email. The book proposal has been accepted, but the next stage is the book proposal is being sent for peer review process. For peer review, generally it takes 2 to 4 months. Because it is sent to external subject expert who may have busy otherwise, like the faculties like you and others. So it would be sent to them, they will be given 6 or 8 weeks, and it would be sent at least like 5 to 6 people. Once they reply, then the review report will be shared. But generally you have seen 2 to 4 months it takes for the book proposal review. After that, the discuss review, editorial board meeting, sign contract, it can happen within like 3-4 days. It doesn't take time. Writing phase, it will depend on the author, how much time you want to write your book. Generally, I recommend it not to take more than 1 year. And if the manuscript is ready, immediately we can go to the next stage. And after the manuscript delivery, it approximately takes 4 to 5 months to publish it. So that is the entire cycle, approximately 10 months to 12 months. If you have the book proposal ready, if you have the manuscript ready, then it will take approximately 7 to 8 months to maximum 10 months.
Do Taylor and Francis take up conference proceedings also for publication?
We have a different wing for that, but we become. But that is a completely separate commercial venture that we have. So what we do in conference proceedings, we have seen we struggle to sell it a bit. So in those cases, we look into the conference proceedings, whether we can publish it or not, and generally go for a contract with that particular institute or university to publish that. It's an institutional commercial contract that we have. And we have a completely different team for that. We do not look into it.
For example,
different publication houses. So Sally is asking about conference proceedings publication. Different publication houses have different kind of way of publishing it. In Taylor & Francis, we are not very keen or very active about publishing conference proceedings. You will see very less that we are published over the year. But we have a separate commercial team who will look into it. And they, it depends on the conference proceedings that you are approaching.
Like we have Web of Sciences, which are quite aggressive in that direction. Web of Sciences and others.
Yes.
So Taylor & Francis is not that much active.
Till today, we are not very keen to take up a lot of conference proceedings. We are not seeing like thousands of conference proceedings to be published. We are not seeing it right now, till today.
Sir, one more thing, you were mentioning that if a student cannot publish his or her thesis directly as such, there must be some modifications or some, scope must be broadened.
They can publish that.
But you were saying that it is relatively easier to publish as an e-book. Relatively, it can go as an e-book also. But there is a cost involved in it. You were mentioning that. So what is the average cost for that?
Yeah, probably misunderstood. Let me clarify again. Anybody can publish PhD thesis, but most of the publication houses, especially TNF, we don't take up if somebody is submitting a PhD directly. That is number one. Number two, e-book is not, if you think the print book would be more costly, e-book is less costly, it's not like that. Whatever book we publish, there are a lot of resources involved. Why? Because the time we were submitting the book proposal, as you can see, there are a lot of departments are involved, a lot of costs are involved, a lot of resources are involved. It takes a lot of time to copy it, finalize the book, and whatever we are publishing, we are sending it for marketing, it's going global. So we don't have any different kind of like mechanism where we will publish one book, only book, nothing else, we will not do anything. We don't do that. So we have a standard system that is being followed across the globe. That is the second point. And third point is, yes, if anybody wants to publish it as an ebook, I am sure there are multiple options in the market, they can go ahead with it. But if you really want to develop the idea, then better to convert it into a monograph, better to make it more suitable for wider audience.
So Taylor & Francis, the books also?
All our books are published in multiple formats, including ebooks. Any books that is being published, because the global consumption, I think, in this year, it is almost 60 or 65 to 45. So 65 is 35. So 65, I think 60 to 65 is the ebook, and less 30 to 35 or 40 approximately is the print book. So ebooks are slowly rising after, especially after pandemic. Yes, sir.
Multimedia technology for teacher education. I would like to refer other books that have already done by various authors. So, especially from this Taylor & Francis. Where is the exact source that I can search some of the books pertaining to the title that I'm
You can go to the website.
In another platform, Gene is a source of. exploring the digital e-books and all. Is there any specific platform under your website to trace back or to explore such kind of items?
Thank you, sir. Legion is a pirated website, and there are lots of cases going against them. I think we have also done a lot of cases, so I would recommend not to use it. It's a free ebook pirated website. I would suggest not. It's illegal. Anytime the legal proceedings may happen, and in many countries it is already banned. In India also, and I think eventually it would be banned, or it is banned. Probably they are using some other methods. So that is our Legion. About our books, there are multiple ways. Number one is that time to time the TNF business development manager comes to your campus. They give the catalogs. You look into the catalogs. Even I think in your university we have in your library we have a list of books that we have published. So that is one way of looking into it. Second, you can just go to our website, put down the topic, and it will give you all the details. Or else you can look into the Scopus Index list. You can look into any standard website like Amazon or anywhere. You just go, you put the name plus TNF, you will get all the books that we have published.
Authorized to access on these e-books.
Authorized means? Whether you can freely download it or not. You cannot freely download. If your library has access, then only you will be able to access it. There are three kinds of ebooks that can be free. 3 ways it can be free. Number one, open access. If the book has been published as open access by any publisher, including us, you can go to our open access platform. All books are free. You can download. You can print it. As far as you are not using it for commercial purposes, you can distribute it as well. That is about open access. Second is that I'm sure your library has access to certain. And the third way is that if somebody has published something locally and given it to you with their rights and all, or you are reviewing for some publication houses, they are given it to you. These are the more or less 3 ways you can legally access. Baki, rest of Legion and all this, these are illegal websites. I suggest not to use it to make it like virus and other things. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the question. And thank you for making it very interactive. Is there any other questions, or should I go through some of the slides here?
Regarding open access and the publication of data, nowadays our scholars are taking these, high rate of, publication charges. Is there any waive of policy as part of the child access?
Okay.
Without signing into it?
Okay, so I have a slide about open access. I will answer your questions once I reach to the slide. I think then I will be better to be able to explain. So I'm moving to tips of writing a strong book proposal that we have already discussed. I think how much time I have? 4:30, sir. How much time I have?
You are on time.
Yeah, I'm on time. Okay, thank you. So. The review process. I told you that there are 3 things that you need to know if you don't remember anything. If you feel this presentation is very boring and you want to forget everything, just remember 3 things. 2 I already told you. This is the 3rd thing that I want to remember. I want you to remember. That is the review process. Review process is the center of any academic publication, any kind of academic. If somebody is promising you that your book or your paper will be published without review, that means it is not a legitimate publication in almost all the cases. So what happens is there are different kind of review process out there. What is the most common one? Double anonymous review. That means the reviewers and the authors, they will not know each other. Their name will not be shared. Only the publisher will know, and they will be the author's work will be shared with the reviewers. Reviewer will review it and share it with the publisher. Second is single anonymous. In that case, the author's name will be revealed to the reviewer, but reviewer's name will not be revealed to the author. Because in these cases, if the bio of the author is important to that particular proposal or particular work, publishers follow this single anonymous review. There are 3rd is open review. In open review, everybody knows, the reviewers know author's name, authors know reviewer name, even the audience who are reading the book. If they go to the website, they will be able to see what kind of comments the reviewer has made and how authors has changed, and they will also be able to see different kind of version of the paper. Maybe somebody wrote the paper and along the way they got the review report and they changed it. So all things will be visible. That is called open review. In case of book proposal, we follow single anonymous review. Because we don't have the manuscript at the time, only the book proposal form, we are sending it to for review for that single anonymous. And we generally try to get 4 to 5 reviews from across the world. Try to get 1 or 2 from India, 1 or 2 from US, 1 from UK, like that. Obviously, it will depend who is the subject expert. So when we look into the reviewers, we like to see if the same person has previously published on that particular area. It is not that the person can be any discipline, no. The person needs to be, has to have previous publication on the similar area, right? And not only that, we also try to look into faculties and researchers, maybe the professors. We don't send it to, generally do not send it to someone who is not associated with an institution. If somebody is associated with higher education institution, only then we will send it to them. We try to avoid anybody who is related to the author. For example, if they are co-author, or they are from the same institute, or they are from the same batch, we try to, if we have the information, try to avoid it. So in the review process, these are the general questions that we receive all the time. How many reviews are necessary for books, for journals? Generally 3 to 5. What is the timeline for the reviews? Probably I shared earlier, it is like 2 months to 4 months. That's the general timeline. It may, for the books, for the journal, it may depend on that particular journal, what kind of submission they are getting, what kind of volume they have. And so for each journal, the timeline can be different. So whenever you are submitting to journal, look into their own page. If there should be the timeline written, if it is not, you can write to the editor-in-chief, they will provide you with that information. It depends from journal to journal. In books, I'm only talking about books, 2 to 4 months. May I incorporate reviewer suggestion I disagree with? Yes, you can. You can disagree with the reviewer. There is a popular misconception that reviewer suggestion need to be followed. No. You can also disagree with it, but you have to provide enough arguments. You have to provide reasons why you are not agreeing with it. Maybe if the reviewer suggesting something, you cannot just reply saying, you know, I'm not agreeing. It will not work like that. You have to provide a proper, like 1 or 2 paragraphs you have to write why you are not agreeing, and instead what you are doing. So it is not mandatory to agree with the reviewer. You may disagree, but you have to provide points. In the case you disagree, who will make the decision? The journal, in case of journal or in case of book, the editor may decide whether they will send it for another round of review or not. Maybe they can send it to another reviewer, saying, this is the review report, this is the comment we received from the scholar, what do you think? Do you recommend? That can be one option, and if it is very clear and simple, for example, a reviewer suggested that you add 1 additional chapter on such and such area, and you reply saying this chapter is not relevant to my work. In those simple cases, the publication house sometimes take decision. This is the legitimate response, and we'll go ahead with the publication. Right? What the proposal gets rejected, we have discussed some of the points earlier, so I'm not going into it. What are you expected to do when you get reviews? When you get the review reports, you go through it, look into the points that the reviewer has provided, and reply to that as meticulously as possible. Again, it may sound like these are really all simple things, but people miss it all the time, authors miss it all the time, so be mindful of these simple facts. These are not any rocket science or anything, the simple things. When you receive the review report, just look into it, create some points out of it, and reply. So, the similar way you will defend your PhD, it is also defending your paper, right? Skipping the writing phase, and I'm directly going to the open access things, and then I will take more questions from you.
Up to 5 p.m. Including question and answer up to 5 p.m.
Up to 5 p.m. So this is 4:33. I will take another 10 minutes, and then we will move to just 2 slides I will talk about what the prospective authors need to know and open access. So we will have approximately 15 to 20 minutes to discuss about all the questions you have. After this workshop, I will be available here for another 1 hour. If you want to talk to me about your work, I'm available, or you can mail me later as well. So these are some of the key facts that you need to know. Number 1, royalties. Royalties I already explained, so I'm not going into that. Copyright permission. So what is copyright? Copyright is, there are 2 different kinds of copyrights. One is authorship right. You write a book and you have the intellectual property rights with you. And this is inalienable right. Nobody can take it from you. You cannot sell it, just like freedom. You think you will give it to someone, you can't. Because that is connected to you. You have created that one. And that is true for any intellectual property, any creative things that you are creating. So when you sign a contract with the publisher, what you actually give to that publisher? You give the publishing rights, distribution rights, selling rights. You are giving those rights to the publisher. In our publication, if you go to the copyright page, you will see copyright and author's name, because the intellectual rights is out. But what we are doing, we are kind of agent of the publisher in a manner of speaking. We are agent of the author, and we are publishing it, distributing it. We are adding some values into it, for example, copywriting or giving suggestions, creating the review process and all, adding some values and distributing it worldwide. So that is copyright permission. Complementary copies. Generally, whenever you publish a book with the publication house, they give you some free copies, which is called complementary copies. It will depend from publication house to publication house. It will depend from book type. Generally, 5 to 10 copies you get per author, 5 to 10 copies. If you have more authors, for example, in one book you have like 8 authors, then probably you will get 2 or 3 each. Like that. So it will decrease or increase based on the number of authors. Timeline also we have already discussed. For any book that you are writing or any paper that you are writing, chapter abstract or paper abstract is very important. Where read it as many times as you want, then copy it carefully, then only submit it. Because most of the cases people only look into the abstract and then decide whether they will read your paper or not. It should contain all the keywords that is required, that is there in your paper. It should contain the main idea and main argument of your book. Alt text. Alt text is a new thing. Is there anyone in the room who knows what alt text is? Do we have anyone? No. So, in recent times, all the big companies, publishing companies, have decided they will only accept books and papers which has alt text. What is alt text? Alt text is alternative text. Why this publisher has decided this? Because some of the big countries has made it mandatory. For example, European Union, for example, US, for example, UK. These countries in UK, I think 2025 is the deadline. After that, any government institutions will not be purchasing any book if the book does not have alt text. So now, what is this alt text? Alt text is basically alternative text for visually challenged people. For visually challenged people, all the books are converted into audiobook or in some other formats. But in case of image, how you are going to explain what the image is about? That's why if you are using image or graph or any tables in your books, if tables are editable and readable, then it is fine. But if it is a kind of very complex tables that you are using, then obviously, and other than that, the most concrete areas are images. So if you are providing an image, you need to provide a description of that image with the book. So for example, here I can see there is an image of Pondicherry and the sea and the sunset. So you describe saying this is a photograph taken by such and such person on such and such year, and it shows the sea of Pondicherry, and this is the beach, and it shows a lovely picture of the light, how light is dancing on the sea waves. Something like that. So we are providing a description of your images so that the visually challenged people can also understand what is written there in the book. It is mandatory in most of the countries nowadays, and people are not purchasing books if it is not there. People means the government and the government institutions. So it is very important that you know what is alt text. Indexing, I guess everybody knows indexing is very important nowadays. For TMA, all the publication that we do, we send it to Scopus and WOS. They have their own mechanism, quality checking mechanism in place. They decide whether they will take up a particular book for the indexing or not. So generally it takes 6 months to 1 year. Every 1 year they update their index, and it is freely available on the Scopus website. If you want to see the index, then go there, download it. There are some tools where you can also check whether a particular book is Scopus index or not. Similarly, WOS. And Google is a different kind of indexing. Google does not have any criteria. Some technical criteria are there, but they do not have any quality criteria. Scopus and WOS has quality criteria. They check, they decide, they have an editorial board who decide whether they will pick up your book or paper for indexing or not. Google doesn't have, but Google is a very, very powerful indexing. So if you want any particular book or any particular information about a book, Google means Google Books or Google Scholar. You will get the information there. So this is also kind of indexing that is being accepted by most of the scholars globally. Role of editor in a contributed book, I don't think that is a relevant question today, so I'm like just moving to the next. Why it is not working actually? Now we have reached to the last slides of our presentation. Sorry for this long presentation, but I hope the presentation is helping you some way or the other. In case something is not very clear, just reach out to me. I will try to help you as much as possible. What is open access book? Open access book is a new phenomenon which is being introduced from 90s. It started as a movement. What was the movement? That the knowledge should not be restricted. Knowledge should be free for everyone. Everybody should get access to a particular knowledge, new information that is being generated, new research. But how to make this open? If you are writing a book, you can simply make it open in a website, right? But people will not know about it. How they will get to know? It needs to be indexed. It needs to go through the quality control. It needs to go through the peer review process. It needs to be distributed globally. Then only people will get to know that you have published a book. So the entire process that I am talking about has a cost, as a resource. How we are going to make the knowledge free. So that's why this open access is a new kind of concept which is being followed in most of the publication houses now came up with a model. What it does, it makes, there would be a funding agency, there would be some institutions or a university who is paying to make that particular literature freely available. So earlier it was a two-way connection. Somebody was writing it, publishing it, and somebody was purchasing it and reading it. So that means the consumer and the purchaser, the consumer and the payer was the same person, right? Same person or entity or institution. In this case, there is a third person involved. So third party or third institutions who is paying for that to make the publication freely available globally, who is not the consumer, who is not the primary consumer. Primary consumer is all the people in the world. Anybody can download it, read it, distribute it. So what does it mean to be open access books? Open access book is content is freely and permanently available online. Anywhere, anyone build upon this research. What does it mean build upon this research? Open access publication uses a different kind of licensing which is called Creative Commons license, CCC. It also has like 6 different sub-licenses, but I'm not going into that. Just understand this. Under this license, if you are not using the content for commercial purpose means you are again publishing it and selling it. If you are not doing it, you can do whatever you want with the content. And there are other conditions that you also have to recognize the author who is the intellectual property owner of that particular work. If you are meeting these 2 conditions, you can do anything with the content. When I'm saying anything, what does it mean? You can adopt. I'll come to you, sir. Just give me 1 second. It means you can adopt. It means you can redistribute. For example, you are a teacher. You are teaching in a class. You can download the thing. You can print it and give it to all the students. You don't have to ask permission or don't have to do anything. Even you can convert it into a PPT. You can distribute it among your friends. Even you can adopt it. You don't have to take permission with anyone. You can dramatize it. You can make it a movie out of it. Anything. If the Creative Commons license is there. Yes, sir.
So I would be senior register. So the register and how can I tap some of the FTC or some of the open access application from the fund? So I need a type with TML. So what is the process? What is the?
So if I understand you correctly, you are asking how to get access to the open access content.
Yeah, I have the access point and I have the fund from the store. Let's say.
For open access, you are talking about open access publication or open access access?
Open access.
Open access to access the book or publish the book? Okay. So for open access publication, you can simply write to me. I will help you to publish. and I will tell you what is the process. There need to be some institutional funds, as I explained, need to be there. And if you want to access what we have published, there are, for books, we have a website. I can say simply Google Taylor and Francis Open Books or Open Access Books. You will get all the books freely available there. You can use it any way you want. You can give it to Pondicherry University, you can access it on your own website, you can give it to friends. It doesn't matter if you are downloading it from. It's free, no? Anyone can use it. And for journals, there are journals who are completely open access. So you can go to that journals and download it, all the papers that are published. Some journals are hybrid, where some are, please take on, please. Some journals are hybrid, in that means some of the articles are open access with got content and they are freely available. I can share the link with you, or you can just like Google it, whatever way you want. So I guess yes sir.
Yeah, in addition to this, what you can do, you can type in Google DOAB, Directory of Open Access Books. There you can find a number of books. Not will provide also, alright? Go for the Open Access Books. Here I will provide an interview.
I was coming to the indexing part. Thank you, sir. So, additionally, we talked about a few indexing a few slides back. Additionally, if you are publishing in open access, there are different kinds of indexing in space. One of them are very popular, which I said DOAB, Directory of Open Access Book Publication. If you go there, you will see millions of, like thousands and thousands of books are available freely there, as per the subject and the topic. So that is the one kind of indexing system, and if your book is published in open access and it is indexed there, that is a proper authenticated index, can be used for any purposes. That you can add like to your CV as well as this index in Scopus, WOS, and this open access directory. So and it's freely available. It's not owned by any publication house. It's a open system. Anybody can go in the website and check what are the books that are published in open access. So now you can ask me why I would like to publish in open access. Is there any reason that you want to publish in open access? The first reason is that to impact and reach. If you are publishing it, you are reaching out to more people because it is not behind a paywall. People doesn't have to pay to access it. Sometimes what happens is people who are not from academia, they are also interested in academic books. Sometimes they can't afford it, especially a country like us in India. It's very difficult for people who are not privileged like us. They can't access the books. So in this way, if you are publishing your book as open access, it will be reaching to all these people. They will be able to download it. They can read it, and it will open a new world for everyone. So that's why we keep promoting this open access. In India, open access is not a government policy yet. There was discussion from, I think, from 90s, there was a lot of discussion happening. Now what is happening in different institutions, universities, they are coming up with their own funds. Sometimes people are reaching out to the global funds, they're getting it and publishing it in open access. Some countries like Germany, they are very serious about open access, and even in UK, USA last year, I think in 2022 August, it was announced from the US government, in 2025 onwards, any research that is happening in USA, funded by the government, need to be published as open access, need to be published. It's not optional. If you don't publish it, you will not get any funds. Similarly in Germany, similarly in UK. If you want to know more about it, I have written an article on that. Like it was happened in August, I wrote it in August or September in Financial Times, a short article about what actually happened in USA and how that is impacting India. You can just Google my name, you'll get that article, or I can share it. But the main point is that slowly all the developing and developed countries are moving towards open access because they want to make the knowledge freely available. And remember, in some areas you cannot do open access. For example, if you are working on nuclear technology or nuclear bomb, so that is not something, or atomic bomb, that is not something we will be able to make it open access. But in all other areas which are not sensitive to the national security, those can be published in open access and distributed. We have done some studies, so for OA books are cited 1.5 times more than non-OA books. Non-OA books means regular books that we have seen. Open access and TNF is publishing in the open access for many years. What do we do? Whenever we are publishing an open access book, we publish it in two versions. One is print version and one is ebook version. Ebook version is freely available, we still sell the print version. And we have seen a strange thing all across the book. What is the strange thing? That if we publish a book in open access, we have seen the print books demand has gone up. Because people can actually see the books, they can read it, and then they decide, if this is the book I want to keep in my library, this is the book I want to keep with myself. And that's why suddenly we have seen the book is available freely. You can download it, you can print it, but they are ordering the book. And they're saying we want to keep a hard copy with us. So this is a strange phenomenon that we are seeing across the globe.
Printing cost is more.
No.
Person downloaded.
Okay, in that case. Yes, obviously, and then if you are printing on your own, then the quality will not be there, the binding will not be there. So we have seen this, especially the institutional cost. Because faculties are like reading open access books, and they say, this is the book I want to use to teach my class. So they are ordering the books to the library, they are using the hard copy books to show to the student like that. So there is change.
Like bouquet of flowers.
Yes.
Please, the corner.
Yes, I still like hard books, hard copies of books. I have a small library in my home, like the entire room is full of books. And I was given like ultimatum, you can't buy anymore. If you want to buy, now buy books. We don't have any place in our house to read. So either you purchase a new flat, or purchase some other place, or you have to purchase the books. But yeah, I still like to read my books in hard copy version. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
Explain your data and transaction policy. The author of the corporation is empowered to decide on my locations.
Okay. Sam is asking you whether the author and publishers are empowered to decide whether a book will be open access or not. So, sir, open access is nothing but a distribution method. The entire process, everything is same. The only difference is that how you are distributing your knowledge, right? So for that you need a fund. If the fund is there, the person can approach the publication house and say, you see, I have this open access fund, I can use it to publish it, to make it open access, and then it can be made open access. But nothing to do with the publishing decision. Publishing decision is different. It depends on the review process. And if the review process is positive, then only publish. It is a distribution method. Don't think it is something else. Open access is completely distribution. How you are distributing it, that's it. Nothing else. But since you are distributing it freely, you are getting a lot of things which are not available in the traditional. More impact factor, more reach, you are getting more citation. Suddenly you are getting a lot of emails from global authors. They are saying, I want to collaborate with you because probably they have seen your books. So that's why it's different. But otherwise the process, the review process, quality checking process, those are same. There is no difference in that particular area. So we have already published almost like 2,000 open access book content, and we have an open data policy. We are not only talking about open access now, there's a new thing called open science. That also we are doing for some time. Open science, open data, that means whatever you are publishing, the data behind your work is also getting published freely, openly. So if somebody wants to see the data behind your research, they will be able to see it in that particular publication, in that particular website. So this is a new world that we are living in, and probably soon we'll be able to make all the knowledge, higher education knowledge freely available to everyone. Thank you very much. This was a brief presentation, just so that you know this is the kind of 1 or 2 days workshop. But I tried to explain as much as possible. Thank you very much. You are very good and very, very patient with me. I hope I will be able to explain the basic ideas of academic publishing. Now we have approximately 10 to 15 minutes. I will take questions, whatever questions you have. You can write down my email ID. If you don't want to share the question right now, you can write it to me later as well. Yes, sir.
I have a this question. I was thinking, both the three versions of the Francis, there are two versions, right? One is European version, one is Indian version of the other Francis. Because of the Indian people, so like, by what is the difference between the Indian version and the
In terms of content, there is no difference. What Taylor and Francis does, they first publish any book globally. And after some time, if there is any particular demand in any particular region, then only we come up with a regional copy. For example, if we publish a book on this introduction to data science, and some university said, this book is very relevant for our textbook, for our course, but it is not possible to purchase your book because the reference book are priced high. So then maybe we will come up with an Indian version and print it in an Indian price. So like that. But in content-wise, in process-wise, review-wise, there is no difference. It needs to be published internationally, then only may happen some local edition. So it is not true for all the publication houses. Many publication houses has an India kind of publishing system. So what they do is they take up Indian authors, they publish it here and only distribute it in India. So globally it will not go. Only in India, maybe some copy somebody is targeted.
What I have seen, like internationally, the book price would be like 4,000-5,000 something like that.
Yes.
Indian version the market is like 700.
See the book, the quality of the paper, the GSM of the paper, see the hardbound, that matters. The content will remain as it is. The quality of the paper, the hardbound, and other things.
So, sir, my
Content will be safe.
yeah, my thing is like only because of that thing, the price is like huge difference.
It's just like you are purchasing an iPhone, you are importing an iPhone from US and purchasing an iPhone from your local store. It's the same iPhone you are purchasing. Probably printed or made in some other places, but it's the same thing, same OS and everything is same. There is no difference. If there is for example, there was a time when if you wanted to buy a Mac system, there was not available in India, you just have to. Even if you want to buy a Tesla car, you can't buy it in India, you have to import it, right? And whatever price is in the international market, in all the countries need to pay the same. Similarly with books also, if you are purchasing an international books, then whatever price the international market is like absorbing, paying, that would be the price.
Last question is there any publication house, etc., with whom Taylor and Francis normally, tie up in India?
With whom TNS tie up with India?
Yes.
So globally, not only in India, publication.
We are talking about India, obviously.
They have their office in India.
We have our office in India, Indian Authors will commission and publish for the global audience. That is number one. We have tie up with many publication houses in India as well, globally as well. For example, Apple Press is one of the different publication houses, but we are the distributor, sole distributor and publisher of their. But if you want any Indian authors wants to publish with us, they can reach out to us directly. There are authors who are sitting in our Delhi office, who are also sitting in globally. They are commissioning books from global. They don't look in country, whether you are writing from India or Bangladesh, but it doesn't matter. Whether you what has two things. Quality, you remember what I said? Quality, commercial value. The name of the country that you are writing in your email doesn't matter. If the what is good, it has a commercial viability. Does that make sense?
I have a question. Like in the test rejection time, like when a book proposal or a research proposal or article normally sent to publication officer, at that time, like after 10 or 15 days, I can get like the rejection, and that is called like test rejection, right?
For book proposals, are you talking about book proposal or journal?
Journal article.
Journals are different. Every journal has their own policy. It will depend on which journal you are sending. If you are sending it, Taylor is just a publishing company. There are, I told you how many journals. There is a different publishing board who are looking after journal. We don't make the decision. That publishing board who are not employed by us, who are individual like you, like Seth, like 4 people come together, created a journal, and then you are running a journal. We are publishing. We are looking into certain aspect of the journal, right? There can be some journals which are owned by us as well, but there is a board, which are like faculty, the senior professors or academicians who are running it. Each journal has their own policy. Each journal has the kind of submission that they get. For example, there can be a journal which is getting 100 submissions every day. So you will not get your answer within 2 or 3 weeks. No, it may take 5-6 weeks. For Indian example, EPW. If you send the article to EPW, do you think they will reply? If you write an article and send it to Times of India, how many days do you think they will reply? So it depends where you are sending, what kind of volume that they are getting, what kind of publishing policy they have, and based on that, they will be, giving you the feedback. This is about journals. About books, it will again depend on the topic and the editor that you are writing. Generally, it is 2 to 3 weeks. To write to me, I generally reply by 1 week, to whether it is accepted or not. Some other editor, maybe they are getting hundreds of proposals every day. So it's not possible to see all the 100 proposals one day. So they will eventually come to your proposal and then reply to you. It's like that. But I can tell you one thing, the publishing houses are less and the authors are more. So we get a lot of proposals from everywhere, all the industry. So it's a very cutthroat competition is there.
So there is a series of editors who are selected to publish on a particular project 4, 5, 6, many books, and then there are individual editors like that.
No, we don't do that. There are editors. If there is a particular topic, multiple proposing a particular book. If it is accepted, they can sign a contract with us and publish.
So series editor and only particular.
Series editor is a very senior professor or number of professors who are already expert on that topic, and they decided they will publish on that particular area whatever books that are coming in. And that is the series. And under that, there can be edited book, authored book, monograph, anything. So thank you very much for the questions. If you have more, please. We are almost end of our time, so let us check if there is anything online. If any questions we have online, then I will try to address that. Sir, do we have anything online? Not. Yeah, just check if there is anything. I will be happy to answer that. Any other questions? Anything else?
In the message boxes, check if any questions are there.
I think your question has been answered in the open access discussion, right? No? Huh? So can you please tell me the questions again?
Publications are policy.
Is there a waiver policy for the open access?
No. What are the article processing charges? APC.
Is there any waiver policy for the APC?
Yeah.
Again, it will depend on the particular journal that you are. I don't think there is any waiver policy. I have to check if there is any waiver policy. But tell me the name of the journal after this talk. I will tell you if there. For the book, open access books, there is a waiver policy. So in open access book, there are different kind of countries we have categorized based on the UN data. And in India, I think currently they are offering 50% discount. 50% of if there is like 100 rupees. Total cost 50% would be waived for any honors and any funders who are coming from India.
Same with respect to open. You
don't need to subscribe. Open access to free, anybody can download.
But the subscription content also, some of the publishers are offering them to you. In that subscription, they are offering the menu.
That maybe there are different publishers who have different models. I will share the package and free model that I think we have already discussed with you library. Based on what kind of journals are listed there and whether we have anything already ongoing. But I don't think there is any particular waiver. For each institutional contract, there is some kind of like price being negotiated and understood. Obviously, any sale there are some kind of discount and all those things. But the term waiver doesn't apply with that one. It applied on the kind of in the books where we say 50%, not waiver, 50% discount for the countries. Not only India, it is like for all the countries in the globe, we have a kind of list which we got from the UN. Based on that, we provide different kind of discount. The answers, sorry, I thought I have experience. So thank you very much with this. We are completing today's session. Thank you very much for attending. Thanks to the university and thanks to Sir for inviting me. It has been lovely. It was a lovely morning here. Lots of, I saw good rain that was happening from last night. We really enjoyed it. Thank you very much and bye-bye. Have a nice evening.
Thank you, sir. For spending your valuable information with us. Thank you, sir. Now, take the diet. Now, I invite Dr. Vijay Kumar, sir, Assistant Librarian of the Pondicherry University, to address the vote of thanks.
Thanks, sir.
Good evening, Ananda gathered here. It's my privilege to propose a vote of thanks on this special occasion. First and foremost, I want to express my deepest gratitude to our Director Research, Developmental Studies and Options of the Developmental Research that unwavering support. Thank you, sir, for your inspiring special letters and the encouragement of Indian author books. I am deeply thankful to University Dr. Vijay Prasad for initiating the wonderful idea of conducting this author workshop and your valuable introduction to the program. Sir only initiated this program for conduct author workshop. Sir also asked many more publishers after every month we plan to conduct Sir asks advice to conduct every month publisher workshop. So very soon another workshop will come. Sir only aim to develop our library and research for development knowledge. Your meticulous planning and attention to detail ensure that even seamlessly that every participant had the opportunity to engage meaningfully. Thank you very much for your initiative. I extend my heartfelt thanks to Sri Rajesh for the insightful presentation and sharing their wealth of knowledge on such a critical and timely topic. Starting from the proposal, starting from the proposal and the IIT, everything is very detailed. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for your detailed explanation, sir. My sincere thanks to Dr. Mr. S. Sankar, Senior Territory Francis. Sorry, it's not available. For the ensuring the smooth conduct of this workshop. Our sincere thanks to Vidya Bharati Ucha Shiksha Samsthan, Tamil Nadu authorities for cooperating on this workshop. To our enthusiastic audience, faculty members, research scholars, staff and students, thank you for your participation and thought-provoking questions. Your engagement truly made this workshop a collaborative learning platform. Last but not least, a big thank you to all the staff members of the library for their dedication and effort in making this event possible. Finally, let us leave here inspired to apply the knowledge gained and to further the mission of making scholarly work more accessible to all. Once again, thank you all for making this workshop a success. Wishing you continued success in your academic and professional pursuits. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Ananda. Actually, we arranged hiking outside of the hall after the national anthem. Please rise for the national anthem.
Because we have the memory and the group photo.
We will take after the national anthem, we will take a group photo outside, then we will go for the side dish.
पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे ताहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दायक जय भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।
I invite all the participants to please come for photograph. Then we will go for hiking.